Welcome to episode 478 of Salcedo Paranormal, and tonight I am talking about haunted places in the U.S. As always, you can find all episodes of the show along with links to social media and other ways to contact me at the podcast page, and that is salcedoparanormal.podbean.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.podbean.com. Always happy to hear from you all, whether you have comments or questions or topic suggestions, or stories of paranormal experiences, whether they're your own or from others that you trust. Happy to either read those or have you join me on the show to talk about them. Thank you all for listening, whether you are here for the live streams on Discord, or if you listen on the Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP Digital Broadcasting, where you can hear the show every night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And that is basically replays of 2 episodes of the show every night just before Troubled Minds Radio comes on. Also, you can always find the show at the podcast and YouTube feeds as well, since I forgot to mention that. But I want to thank Michael Strange, host of Troubled Minds Radio, as well as Liam Martin, host of the Exiled Minds podcast, for producing the show and putting it up on the station. And really do recommend everyone check out the station. A lot of great shows there. And then you have me as well. Kidding, of course, in a way. But so if you want to support the show, there are some different ways to do that. You can always share the show with others and rate and review the show on your podcast platform of choice. Also, if you'd like to support the show, you can always buy my books through Amazon. I have some paranormal fiction and nonfiction books you can check out over there. And I do have a Patreon page, and I have an episode up there as of right now. I will put up episodes whenever I can. And then once we get to more and more interest in that option, then I will start trying to make a schedule for those. I was going to do that now, but between Halloween coming up and everything, I just want to focus on the main feed as much as possible. And that's the other announcement I had, but I'll save that until after I'm done with this part. You can also always make one-time donations to the show through PayPal or Venmo, as there are expenses in making this show, from equipment to research materials to travel expenses. I'm going to be at the Mid-Michigan Paracon this year. That's November 4th and 5th. That's a Saturday and Sunday, at the Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, and that's in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. And I'll be basically talking with anyone there that wants to talk, and making recordings of myself and others if they want to be part of that, and talking about the paranormal and concepts and experiences and all those things, and then bringing those recordings back home and making shows out of them. So looking forward to that. And help is never expected, but always appreciated. Especially as the show continues. Any help is definitely goes towards the show and getting more research materials and just any other expenses for equipment as they arise. Every so often I have to get a new headset, just because eventually they do get worn out. But anyway. So that covers all of that. The other announcement I want to make is I will be doing one extra episode every Thursday in October. My mind is on the Paracon, I guess. So every Thursday in October, I will be doing an extra show, regular length show, just the usual, like I do most other days. And that's just to celebrate this my favorite time of the year coming up here is October and Halloween, of course. So, and Halloween, of course, that day is the anniversary of the show. So we'll have been going now as of this Halloween for 3 years, basically, in terms of when I started putting the show together in its earliest stages to now. So really is amazing to think back on that, how much has changed in a lot of ways. And since I started, and since I made so many great friends that have helped me with the show since then. So anyway, I think that covers everything as far as the introduction and announcements and all those things. So I started this series on haunted places in the U.S. Last week, and there's a couple things I will always bring up at the start of these shows. First of all, this is more about just the paranormal activity that is said to take place at these locations. These aren't going to be historical deep dives on the locations because I am not a historian, and so I'm just going off of whatever I can find online. Also, I, I leave it up to you all to check out these places online first and see what the rules are as far as whether or not you can go there, what parts of the locations you can and can't visit, all those things, as I do not ever recommend trespassing for physical and possibly spiritual reasons. But that's sort of a joke, but not a joke in terms of places can be dangerous in a lot of different ways. So just keep that in mind whenever I'm talking about all these locations. Do check on the rules and the latest information you can find on these locations because maybe in years past a location may have been open, but now it's not, or it could be the other way around. So I leave all that for you all to check out if you want to ever go and visit these places in person. So just because that's a whole other level of research that I think it would take to find those things out, and that can change, obviously, because whenever I record here, an audio will remain no matter what, even as the details may change and the situation may change as to whether or not you can visit these places. So just wanted to point those things out, and for many reasons there. But I enjoyed last week's show. We only got to cover one location. I think we can probably get two in this time, but if not, I'm not too worried about that. The main thing is to talk about these the paranormal in these locations. So, and I have included all these links in the show notes and sources channel in Discord, and I will also include the links to whatever I use in the show tonight in the episode description for all episodes, or for this episode and all of this episodes in this series as well. I'll always include those links for you to check out yourselves. So, moving on to the first location here we can talk about. And this is, and we're still in the state of Alabama, probably going to be there for a little while. And this is the Maple Hill Cemetery. This is from onlyinyourstate.com. That is a website that will pop up frequently, I think, in these shows. Along with a couple others you'll start probably noticing when as we go further into these shows. The title of this article reads, Maple Hill Cemetery is one place in Alabama where you'll be scared senseless. Of course, they have to go with the dramatic description of the location. So, and of course, these articles, I definitely recommend checking them out because most of them have pictures as well as maps in some cases. And so definitely look at these articles, as I will not be reading them word for word, just giving summaries of them. So apparently this is the cemetery, this Maple Hill Cemetery was established in 1818, so this is over 200 years old now at this point. It's also Huntsville, Alabama's oldest cemetery. And people travel all over the southern part of the U.S. to visit the location. And again, this is very image heavy, so definitely check it out. Apparently, there are more than 80,000 graves that make up the cemetery, which is the final resting place again for many. Says many notable people, including governors, senators, military figures, and prominent businessmen, and more. So, going to the paranormal here, this is a location is well known for its paranormal activity. Over the years, people have reported, let me see here, seeing apparitions and hearing strange noises in the cemetery at night. Did I skip a section? I don't think I did. Let me check on this. Okay. So one of the most haunted places in this area is also sorry, there's another location that's inside the cemetery, and it's actually it's known as Dead Children's Playground. Apparently, the spirits of children that have passed on, of course, obviously, before their time, have been known to appear there, I'm guessing here. Let me see here. There have been several reports of swings swaying on their own, orbs of light floating around, and the sounds and the ghosts, I guess, of children playing there. So it's believed the children's spirits come out to play late at night in the playground. So that's, on the one hand, like I always say when it comes to these things, it's sad that they have passed on before their time, but also it's amazing that this idea of these spirits that might be sort of now in a way having fun in this location. So however they're still there, however that works, and whether or not they choose to be there, those are all other questions. But so let me see here. This article mentions that some people don't believe that this location is truly haunted, but many people will tell you about their experiences at the location. So that's always something amazing to me, that this is just this is something that is fairly well known in the area. So, and it goes into other this article, as a lot of them do nowadays. It goes on to talk about other locations, so you can check it out for more ghost stories, I guess you could say. So that's the first one I wanted to cover tonight. We have another 4 articles on this location, and one of them is actually from a ghost story, basically a ghost experience. What do you call it? It's called. I'll just go by the website name, yourghoststories.com. There we go. And this says the title of this reads "Encounter at Maple Hill Cemetery." So let me just check on the chat here before I get going into this description. But okay, everything looks good there. So this is a story apparently of someone's experience. So I'm going to just sort of summarize it as we go here. Mentions that the writer went into this. Let me see here. This writer of this article was at graduate school in 2017, and they went to this location. They took a week off from work. Excuse me. Oh, that's weird. I think this is about the wrong, and this is not about the location. That now this is something that will happen. I didn't catch this before. That sometimes names of locations are the same, but they're not the same location. So I'm going to skip this. If you want to hear another story about another location with the same name, I guess I can include that still in the episode links, or you can just check it out in the Discord. That might be the better way to go. So I always recommend everyone join the Discord and see what's there. So sorry about that. We'll skip to the next article here. And this one is from wearehuntsville.com. This is title reads Maple Hill Cemetery, Most Haunted Places. So mentions now, when article was made, apparently it was October at one point, and the writer has done a whole series on apparently haunted places. So let's see here. I'm looking at this. Let me see here. Sorry about this. Okay, so this is again, this is about a apparition. Apparently, it's someone known as Sally Carter, and it does involve the Dead Children's Playground. So, and the other things that are claimed there, let's see here. So, let's see. Sorry about that. Apparently, according to one story, there is a family there. And the last name is Bibb, so I'm not sure. Is it Bib? Not sure if it's her or not. But this is a couple, that husband and wife, that they're pretty well known in the paranormal world as far as ghost stories go. And the husband, let me see here. I lost my spot here. Okay, so apparently they are buried in the cemetery, I'm guessing here, and but they're not seen there. I don't know why they're mentioning it in this article here. So apparently this is going over more of just the graves. But okay, here we go. Sorry about that. So after, okay, so let's see here. Sorry about that. Mentions the spirit of Colonel Hunley is said to stand at his grave and near the Maple Hill office in a Confederate Army uniform. His spirit apparently does not talk to anyone that passes by, but he does nod at them when they're going by. That's pretty amazing. Many people that visit the cemetery have reported seeing this man and his father as well, standing behind him. So that's an older man, I'm guessing there. So goes into more detail about other things here at the cemetery. A little bit. Let me see here. There's only one more section here. So the next thing they talk about here is the Erskine Mausoleum. Apparently, it's the burial place of several members of that family, and it was built by Albert Russell Erskine for his mother, Sue Erskine, after her death. Sorry if I'm not saying that name right. This is also, so let me see here. They're talking about more of the family being buried there. So there's the ghost of Albert Erskine that is said to reside at the mausoleum, but many people report apparitions at their family's home as well. I wonder how often, if there's a way. I mean, because we really have no idea. I wonder if some spirits do travel back and forth between their home and the place where they're buried. That's I'm guessing people have had that thought before, but that's just something that this article is mentioning here about apparitions seen in the home of the person that is buried in the cemetery. But then also, I'm just thinking, I'm guessing there's probably cases of the spirits of people that are seen at the home, and their home, and then also at the cemetery where their body is laid to rest. And I'm just wondering how often sort of these apparitions that are just seem to be passing through an area, if they're just walking or going back and forth between locations. So anyway, that's all that article really has there. And let me see what the next one here is. This next one is about the playground, as I already mentioned. We might only get through this one location today, but that's all right. And this is from, let me see here. This is from atlasobscura.com. They have a lot of, that website does a lot of work on just all kinds of odd and interesting places. And so this is a playground that is hidden in, it says, in Alabama's oldest and largest cemetery. Let's see, it has a lot of pictures here in the article. And has a map of the location. And it looks like, so, okay, it starts to talk about that cemeteries, according to this article, can be boring for children. And so the weight and the import of death, it says, has not truly sunk in yet, which makes sense. So this is just talking about this playground that was built in the location. And it was, so let me see here. So there's a small playground there, like we talked about, where children, of course, of the living, obviously will go and play sometimes when people are visiting the cemetery. But apparently, again, there's a lot of people that visit there aren't just the children that go there when they're with their relatives when their relatives are busy. It's also been a frequent location for paranormal investigators as well. So let me see here. Apparently, let's see here. Looking at the rest of this article here, and the this cemetery began running out of room in 2007. It says, and so officials from the area decided to take down the playground. But the locals apparently were so outraged at this idea that a new playground was built. And so that's amazing. They built a new one. And it's known as... So I'm wondering if there's two of them then. There was the site of the former one. And then there's this new one. That's odd. But so it doesn't really say anything more about that, if there was two of them or not. But apparently there's still apparitions that are seen in this playground. So I wonder if they did move or how that happened. I haven't seen anything in any of these articles about that yet. So, but if they're just energy, they could probably move to wherever they want to. So, moving on to the last article on this location. And I was right, we're only going to get through this one location today. So, and this article is from scaryhq.com, another one that I've run into a lot with all these looking into these locations. Apparently, so let's see here. This is about a haunted location, the Maple Hill Cemetery in Huntsville, Alabama. And apparently there was an older lady that passed away that was put in the family burial house for that family. And the family put an antique rocking chair in the crypt with her because it was a prized possession to her. And so apparently anytime when you stand outside this one burial, I guess, crypt, you can hear the rocking chair moving back and forth. That really is amazing. I wonder if there is more to that. So if that does happen, and I wonder if people could see in there, would they see her? So this is probably the article I should have led with. It has a lot more detail about the history of the location and all those things. But you can check it out for yourselves. And so, yeah, I think this one really talks about a lot of locations, so maybe not. We didn't miss too much here. But anyway, so that's basically all the time we have for today. I thought I'd get through a couple of locations, but this one took a while to get through. So, but that's all right. This is supposed to be an ongoing series, and really just for... I don't really plan on having it end for a very long time. So hopefully you all enjoy it, and thank you all for listening. And please do check out all the links and all the show descriptions whenever you listen to any past shows, because there are links to friends' projects, other friends that have been on the show. You can find their links to what they're doing and all the amazing stuff that they make and put out, and podcasts and all those things. So, and thank you all for listening, whether you're on the podcast feed or on the Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And I will talk to you all on the next episode of Salcedo Paranormal. Take care.